Sergeant Kevin Droll stood on the witness stand, his chest puffed with pride. He recounted the arrest like it was a moment of valor. "I handled it clean," he said. "The suspect was loitering, refusing to identify himself. He got loud, so I made the arrest. Textbook procedure." The suspect was Darius Merriweather, a 38-year-old black civil rights educator and co-founder of a community legal aid nonprofit. On the night in question, Darius had been standing outside the community center he helped build, waiting for a lift. He never expected to spend the night in a holding cell, let alone have to defend his civil rights in court. But when Droll cuffed him without warning, refused to provide a reason, and never read his rights, Darius knew he wasn't just being detained. He was being profiled. And he was ready. In the courtroom, the prosecutor echoed the officer's version of events. Mr. Merriweather became verbally aggressive, failed to comply with lawful orders, and was arrested for obstruction and failure to identify. When it was Darius's turn to speak, he walked to the front with calm composure. He wore a modest gray suit, his locks tied back neatly. He addressed the judge directly, voice measured and resolute. "Your Honor," he said, "the arresting officer violated no less than 3 civil codes in the course of this incident." The courtroom stirred. "First," Darius began, holding up a copy of the Mississippi Civil Rights Statute. "Under Title 11, Chapter 49, Section 3, individuals are not required to identify themselves to law enforcement unless there is reasonable suspicion of a crime in progress. I was standing outside a public building where I work, doing nothing unlawful." He turned the page. "Second, under Title 15, Chapter 1, Section 11, a statute adopted in the wake of federal civil rights reform, law enforcement officers are required to inform a detained person of the charge within 10 minutes. I repeatedly asked why I was being arrested. Sergeant Droll refused to respond." Darius paused, allowing the silence to deepen. And finally, he said, "Under the Federal Civil Rights Act, Title 42, Section 1983, the use of arrest to suppress constitutional activity, including free movement and assembly, is actionable. I was not only wrongfully detained, I was denied the dignity of due process." He then reached into his satchel and produced a USB drive. "Included in this file is video from the center security camera. It has audio. You will see I did not obstruct, did not threaten, and complied fully until I was arrested without cause." The judge looked visibly perturbed. The video was played in open court. It showed Darius leaning calmly against a brick wall, checking his phone. The officer pulled up, approached with minimal dialogue, and within 90 seconds, Darius was in cuffs, without any escalation or refusal to cooperate. The prosecutor scrambled, attempting to reframe the argument. "There may have been a misunderstanding, but the officer acted in good faith." Darius countered, "Good faith does not erase bad law." Judge Medina narrowed her eyes at the prosecutor. "I find that Mr. Merriweather's arrest was unlawful. All charges are dismissed. Furthermore, this court refers the matter to the Civilian Review Board and the Department of Justice for potential civil rights violations." The courtroom erupted into murmurs. Darius simply nodded, collected his documents, and returned to his seat. Outside the courthouse, supporters and members of his community greeted him with cheers and gratitude. Journalists peppered him with questions. "Are you going to sue?" "I haven't decided yet," he said. "This wasn't just about me. This is about every person who's been stopped because they fit a description. This is about our right to stand, wait, and breathe without being seen as a threat." Within 24 hours, the video footage had gone viral. The hashtags "Darius was waiting" in violation of 3 trended nationally. Civil rights attorneys across the South began reviewing similar cases with renewed urgency. Sergeant Droll is now under internal investigation for misconduct. Darius Merriweather returned to work at the community center the next day. That evening, he taught a workshop titled, "Know Your Rights, How to Push Back Legally." He ended the session with this reminder: don't raise your voice, raise your evidence.